Hey y'all, it's been a while. Let's get this project done. Okay, several things have happened since I first started this project. From the beginning, what I wanted to do was take a standard fence board and use that to carve this growth chart for my wife's flower garden. And that's part of the reason why it's taken me so long to get back to this project, is because this is not the first piece of material that I've gotten. The problem with it is these fence boards are cut green. They are extremely wet, so they need to dry before we can use them in a project. You'll also notice that the top of this board is stained. That was done for a couple of reasons. Number one, I want that nice contrast. Number two, I had to let this sit and air dry. Now, when it comes to selecting this material, I really don't know if you can see. You should be able to see. This is more or less rift sawn. You can see which direction the growth rings go. That helped me out in that there was a lot less warpage going on as this sat and dried. I let it dry for about 6 weeks before I stained one side. The reason I just stained one side is because I didn't want this to cup, twist, or cup in the other direction. I wanted try to keep it as flat as I could. So I went ahead and I let it dry for, again, roughly 6 weeks. Then I stained this side only. Now some of you may be asking, okay, what kind of stain did you use? Well, since this is an outdoor project, I need an exterior stain. I chose a Cabot semi-solid deck stain. Now, this is not sponsored. Cabot doesn't know I exist. I got this at my local blue big box store, and this is a tintable stain. This is a sample pot that you can get for a few dollars. And I went to the paint department, told them what color of stain I wanted, got the correct base for it, they tinted it, mixed it right up, and it works like a champ. This is a little bit different in that you just paint it on, leave it alone. You don't wipe it down. Now, we wanted this rough texture because it kind of gives it that rustic vibe. That's the look that we were going for. So, that should take care of everything that has happened behind the scenes since I posted part 1 of this series. Now, all of those things I said that were going to start making sense a little bit later when we get out on the CNC machine are going to start making a little bit more sense. First thing I need to do is take my sled, mount it to the spoil board, and then drill those 2 locating dowel holes. The one up here will be drilled a 1/2 inch into my spoil board, and the one back here will just be drilled through the material itself. Now, when it comes to actually mounting this sled material to the CNC table, that is simplicity itself. I have a series of 1/4 inch holes running along the side and along the front of my CNC router table, and that lets me use these 1/4 inch steel dowels located along the edge to bring my workpiece up against those dowels. Then I'm going to flush it up with the forward edge of my table. Now, as far as mounting is concerned, I could use screws, but I'm going to use composite nails with my composite nailer. The thing I need to remember is I've got one hole going to be 3 inches up from this edge, so There we go. And I missed. There we go. There's one, and there's two. Now that's not going anywhere. Now I can drill these two holes. Okay, with my bit mounted and ready to zero, I'm going to bring the bit over here and use my three-way touch plate to zero my X, Y, and Z axis. I am not using any of my pre-programmed work offsets. I'll just be using the touch plate. Okay, with my X, Y, and Z0 set for the drilling toolpath, let's go ahead and run it. And here is my first hole right here, and that is going to allow me to drop a locating dowel right there when it comes time to move this down. I'll demonstrate what I'm talking about. First, let's remove that dowel. Next, I gotta go grab my rubber mallet so I can break this loose. That's one of the great things about these composite nails. They're great at holding down downward pressure, but they don't have very strong shear strength. So that makes it real easy to take this loose. Now with the holes drilled in the sled and up here into the spoilboard, when I go to, I will mount the material to the sled and we'll cut the first tile. I will put these pins right here. Bring this up and put this right here to locate it. This is after I get this put on. Remove, get it fastened down, remove all of these pins, and carve the first tile. When it's time to move the project to cut the second tile, I'll put these pins back in the guide holes and drag the piece down. Until that pin engages in that hole. Then I will fasten this end down and we'll cut the second tile. Okay, now it's time to mount this to the sled. I've already got my V-bit installed and I haven't touched it off or anything. I just put it in the spindle. And I'm using a RIP Precision Tools 30-degree V-bit. I'll go ahead and put a link to this bit down in the description of this video. Hashtag not sponsored. Now the way I'm going to mount this to this is a variation on the way I'm lining this up. Basically all I need to do is make sure that this end is flush with this end. And I need to make sure that this edge is flush with this edge. The way I'm going to do that is spin the whole thing around and slide it down this direction. And again, I'll take my steel dowels. I'll place one in the front edge row down here, another one in the front edge row over here, bring that up to this edge, then I just need to flush up this end Make sure that these edges are up against these pins. And I'm going to use my old tried and true painter's tape and CA glue method. I'll put some down here on this end to secure it, slide it down and put some on this end to secure it. Again, I just need to make sure that this corner here is flush. So let me get on with that. Okay, with it all fastened down, ready and raring to go, I can pull these pins, put them over along that edge, and use a third pin to line up that first hole with this hole in the spoilboard. I will not be resetting my X, Y, or Z axis. Once that was done, for the drilling operation, it doesn't need to be done again. That's very important to keep the alignment correct. Now we are set. Let me fasten it down. Once again, up against the side. Let me try that again. I think I shot it into my T-track. We'll find out in a minute. Now I'll bring my bit over, set my Z0, and I'm ready to carve the V-carve toolpath on the first tile. Okay, with the V-carve done on tile 1, now I will go ahead and do the tile 1 clearance pass with my 1/8 inch end mill, which I've already installed. Again, I'm going to set the Z0 down here, but I will not be resetting my XY0. Okay, so as you can see, tile 1 is now finished. Now comes the part that most folks who have never done a tiling toolpath project dread the most, and that is moving the piece. So again, what I'm going to do is I'm going to knock it loose. I'm going to put the pins in along the side. I'm going to drag it down and drop another pin through that hole back there and down into the hole that I've drilled in my spoilboard. Once again, I will not be resetting my XY0. I will only put the V-bit back in the spindle and set Z0 for that V-bit. And for those wondering, yes, I do have a support over here off camera to hold this end of the project while that end is carving. So let's go ahead and get this moved. Then I'll mount my 30-degree V-bit and we'll get this project finished. Okay, this time I'm going to use a small piece of scrap to help me keep me from whacking my knuckle on the front edge of the table this time. And we'll just get in here and smack it loose. Now with that broken loose, I can go ahead and clean up where these nails, composite nails were, and move it down, fasten it down, and we're ready to go. And here it is, finished, 10 months later. It's been a fun project. I really enjoyed this one a lot. Learned quite a bit, and I hope you learned something along the way as well. Now you'll notice I have not painted or finished or stained any of the carve areas. And that's simply because of the aesthetic my wife is looking for out in her flower garden. She wants these raw wood areas to gray up and age as cedar does as it sits out in the weather. So while it's technically finished for our purposes, it's not actually finished, if that makes any sense. So I hope you got something out of this video, and if you did, I do hope you'll give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing to my channel. Now I know there's no way I answered every question about tiling a toolpath, either within the Vectric software or out here on the CNC router. So today at noon Pacific, 3 p.m. Eastern, I'll be hosting a live Q&A session where we can discuss anything that I presented in this video or any other question that you may have on your mind related to CNC routers or Vectric software. Again, that's today at noon Pacific, 3 p.m. Eastern, right here on my YouTube channel. And I put a link to that live Q&A session down in the description box of this video. So before we wrap this up completely, I'd like to give a special shout out and say a special thank you to my channel members. Thank you very much, channel members. I appreciate your continued support. Now, if you don't know what I'm talking about, or if you'd like some information on how to become a channel member, just click that little join button down there next to the subscribe button, and a panel will pop up and a video will play, and that'll tell you all about channel membership. So, again, I hope you got something out of this video, and I hope to see everyone this afternoon for the live Q&A session. And as always, whether you subscribe to my channel or not, whether you become a channel member or not, I'd like to thank you very much for taking the time to watch, and y'all take care.